One of the most significant misunderstandings regarding Harry Morgan's past in the original Dexter has finally been cleared up in Dexter, Original Sin, after over 2 decades. The reason Harry Morgan didn't adopt Brian Moser was one of the most perplexing aspects of the first Dexter. For many years, it appeared that Harry had no motive for separating the boys and just didn't want Brian. Dexter, Original Sin has now provided an official explanation for Harry's decision to allow him to grow up in a mental institution, but Brian provided his own perspective on the matter. Original Sin has the opportunity to delve further into Brian Moser's past, now that his identity as the NHI killer has been established. The prequel series adds to Brian's list of verified murders and included additional details about his early psychotic tendencies and obsession with multicolored nails. The reason Brian wasn't adopted by the Morgan family was also examined in Original Sin, which also served to restore Harry's reputation. Finally, after over 2 decades, the truth about Harry's choice to raise Dexter as his sole son has come to light. As the 9th episode of Original Sin showed, Harry didn't really desert Brian. Harry and Doris, played by Jasper Lewis, adopted both Brian and Dexter following Laura's passing, and they made an effort to keep things going for a while. Only after Brian smashed his hand through a window, slapped Harry across the face, and attempted to suffocate infant Deb was he returned to the state of Florida. According to Harry, they were unable to handle this amount of trauma. Harry and Doris just weren't prepared to provide Brian with the competent psychiatric assistance he needed to cope with Laura's passing. Though they should have brought Brian to a therapist before returning him to the social worker, Harry and Doris made some mistakes with Brian, but they hardly abandoned him. In many ways, Harry and Doris really went above and above. Instead of letting Brian and Dexter go into foster care like everyone else, Harry decided to take them into his house and offer them a chance at a regular life. Doris also had the option to decline to raise her husband's affair-related children, but she felt that Dexter and Brian needed a mother. Brian Moser, regrettably, was either too young or too insane to understand that Harry wasn't truly to blame for keeping him away from Dexter. "You were 3, a little bird with a broken wing," he said to Dexter in the first season of Dexter. Harry wished to improve all of you. I could see it in his eyes, though. They only saw a disturbed child. They locked me up because they all did. It's obvious that Brian was unaware, or chose not to recall, that he had been separated from Dexter due to his own violent outburst. It's also obvious that he still held Harry responsible for his early problems. In Original Sin, Brian's hazy recollection of how he was split from Dexter could lead to some serious issues. Now that it's obvious, Brian is going after everyone he holds responsible for keeping him away from Dexter as a child, including Harry. Barb, Kathleen Rose Perkins, the social worker who consented to take Brian out of the Morgan residence, as well as his therapist and the nurse at the mental health hospital, have already been murdered by Brian. He is likely to target Harry or maybe Bobby Watt, Reno Wilson next, which may result in a significant altercation in the Season 1 finale of Dexter, Original Sin. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.